Back here at home, pastors in Massachusetts are celebrating a big win for religious freedom. It comes after the state revised its interpretation of an anti-discrimination law that involved how churches dealt with important biblical issues, including sexuality. As Heather Sells reports, it would have forced many churches to break the law in order to follow their beliefs.
As the country's strictest anti-discrimination law, it threatened to control how churches communicate about gender and sexuality and how they operate their bathrooms. The strategy, the Massachusetts State Attorney General and Anti-Discrimination Agency deciding that a church would be considered a place of public accommodation if it hosted a secular event, such as a food pantry. Under a public accommodation designation, the church would be forced to follow the law and its rules about gender identity. Pastor George Small and 3 other pastors sued the state, saying that it violated their First Amendment rights.
It could affect me as a pastor and what I teach and how we operate as a church. I mean, this is new ground.
Pastor Small was joined in this suit by pastors Marlene Yo, Esteban Carrasco, and David O'Coin. They also spoke with CBN.
This law is really tying our hands, not allowing us to be who we are. And the government has no place.
All this talk of a wall of separation of church and state, where is it when it comes to something like this?
The victory for the churches comes with a new interpretation of the law. The Massachusetts Attorney General's office now says that it was not right to automatically consider houses of worship as places of public accommodation.
They recognize that they have no legal authority to apply this law carte blanche to churches.
The pastor's attorney says they are overjoyed by the state's decision and are dropping their lawsuit.
It's a great day in the state of Massachusetts when both the Commission and the Attorney General recognize the freedom of every church to operate consistently with its faith.
The Attorney General's office even credited the pastors for taking on the state, noting, quote, "Your lawsuit caused us to focus on these issues and to make this revision." Now there's a growing precedent that churches should not be considered places of public accommodation when it comes to LGBT laws. In Iowa this fall, a federal court shut down a similar attempt to classify churches.
It's an excellent sign that the Massachusetts Commission and Attorney General have likewise backpedaled and said, look, we admit that the First Amendment protects the freedom of churches to operate consistently with their faith.
Holcomb notes that the Massachusetts win would not have happened without these 4 pastors and their willingness to take a stand. Both the Massachusetts and Iowa victories should serve at the least as a warning to any other state trying to use LGBT laws to control churches. Heather Sells, CBN News.